So this is another channel, and everybody don't know where that channel is. I said, exactly. I said, a lot of people ain't gonna know stuff. And I said, shoot, this one dude said, I found it real quick. I said, please. I said, she will always use her own name. You know why? Because my name is good, boo. I ain't got no criminal background history, and I don't do nothing toxic. And I said, don't we know it here too? I said, use her name and see what pop up. I said, exactly. I'm legit. Other people ain't. And I said, you working up on under somebody else's name and you act like what? We can't sit up here and drop a dime on you? I said, we could. Working up under other people's names. And I said, unfortunately. I said, she grabbed something that she really needed. And I said, exactly. Because you know what? Y'all can't even get in the garbage that quick enough. You like, shoo. Who threw stuff away? I said, ain't that the truth? I said, God is here. And Grandma is here. And Granddaddy here. And all the ancestors is here. And I said, that's what we're about to overstand. I said, a lot of people still understanding. But me, I overstand. I said, hey, overstanding lady, they don't know who you are. I said, exactly. I said, everybody want to act like this and act like that. And she talk about this on her channel all day long. And I said, that's kind of catastrophic that people really treat you like this in person. And I said, that's catastrophic, isn't it? I said, but when her book come out, her movie or whatever, please, I will be there watching. I said, ain't that the truth? I said, I'm still looking for Precious. Where is she? And I said, yeah, she looking for her. And she want to wash all her stuff and everything and get it together for her. And I said, that's a mama for you. And I said, ain't that the truth? I said, Precious better come get her stuff or I'm going to be calling 911. And they're going to be like, what the world? I'm going to report her missing. Because she wouldn't just leave and not say nothing. And God said, exactly. So I don't like that. And where's the other baby girl at? And I ain't see the other baby girl either. And I said, why is the baby girls missing? I said, she gonna snap, crackle, and pop. I said, ain't that the truth? I said, where's all the baby girls at? And God said, that's what I'm paying attention to. I said, I'll call 911 in a minute. And me, shoot, I believe in calling the police. I ain't got nothing to hide and I ain't got no warrant.